Some actors chase the spotlight. But Cillian Murphy, he walks toward the silence. And even in that silence, some Hoth world still can't stop talking about him. For months now, fans have dreamt up a new kind of magic. A reimagined Harry Potter TV series. One that looks deeper, darker, into the same world we grew up with. One that trades wonder for complexity. One that, they believed, needed a performance as precise and powerful as Cillian Murphy's. They fan-cast him like wildfire as Severus Snape, as Voldemort, even as a reinvented version of Lucius Malfoy. The internet was flooded with AI edits, posters, dream trailers, and they weren't made in jest. Fans were serious because there's something undeniable about the idea of an actor like Cillian stepping into that universe. An actor who makes pain look dignified. Who can say more with one glance than most scripts can in 3 pages? It made people believe if anyone could bring the Harry Potter revival, the emotional weight it deserved, it was him. It was never published widely. It wasn't meant to be, but when it was referenced quietly during a recent interview with someone deeply involved in the original films, the ripple was immediate, because this wasn't just fans speculating anymore. It was the actor who built one of the most iconic characters in fantasy history, indirectly passing the torch. But when Cillian Murphy was asked, finally, about the speculation, about the praise, about whether he would consider joining the upcoming Harry Potter television reboot, he spoke clearly, firmly, and the answer was no. But the way he said it was what really mattered. It wasn't defensive, it wasn't condescending, it was reverent. He leaned forward slightly. In the middle of a press junket for his recent film, reporters had asked about awards, legacy roles, industry fatigue, the usual. Then someone brought it up. Would you ever be open to playing Severus Snape in the new Harry Potter series? That pause. It's always telling with Cillian. He didn't laugh it off, didn't casually deflect. He took a breath, looked down, then met the reporter's eyes, and said, no. And that no comes with the deepest respect. That was it. Off camera, he shared a little more. He called Rickman's original performance flawless and the story already complete in all the ways that mattered. He added later in a smaller circle of interviewers, sometimes we admire something so much we should never try to impersonate it. Let it stay holy, and you knew in that moment. He wasn't just turning down a role, he was protecting a memory. Because the thing about Cillian Murphy is, he doesn't reinvent characters. He resurrects truths within them. And if there's no truth left to uncover, he walks away. That's what separates him from so many others. But why did this specific moment resonate so strongly? Why did his denial quiet the room rather than stir up debate? Because we live in an age of reboots, revivals, and recasting. Nostalgia isn't just a memory anymore, it's an industry. And most actors, whether quietly or boldly, are lining up for slices of the magic. But Cillian, he refuses to touch a story that's already been sealed with someone else's soul. And that refusal became more meaningful than any performance could have been. But there's another layer to this moment. The praise from a legend no longer with us. Alan Rickman once said about the role of Snape, he's not the villain. He's the guard at the broken gate. And in many ways, fans realized. That's the kind of energy Cillian Murphy has mastered. A man not made of steel, but of scarred silence. A man who stands between love and anger, holding both and letting neither consume him. Whether it's Tommy Shelby pacing in a room full of ghosts, or Oppenheimer staring down the horror of his own genius, Murphy knows how to carry characters bound by guilt and grief and make them human. So yes, fans had every reason to imagine him as Snape. But Cillian knew better than to chase what wasn't. His dot in the interview's closing minutes. He said something that felt more like a whisper to the art itself. The work only matters if you serve it honestly, and sometimes, honesty means saying no, even to the things that once gave you joy. Because it wasn't just about Harry Potter, it was about legacy, about restraint, about the rare beauty of knowing your place in someone else's story, and not walking into it just because the door is open. And perhaps that's why it matters so much that he was considered, because Cillian Murphy wouldn't play Severus Snape out of ambition. He wouldn't do it to please fans. He would only do it if there was something buried in that character, still left unsaid. And in his eyes, Alan Rickman already said it all. So, with one graceful answer, he gave every Potterhead something far more powerful than a performance. He gave them permission to remember to leave the story exactly as it was, to protect it instead of remaking it, just like Snape would have. And maybe that tells us Cillian Murphy might not have needed to play Snape to honor him. He already had sometimes the greatest tribute eyes in knowing when to stay silent. And in that silence, Cillian Murphy said everything. In turning the roll down, Cillian Murphy didn't close a door. He lit a candle inside it. What he said, or what he didn't need to say, reminded us that some roles are sacred. Some legacies are finished, complete, untouchable, not because no one else could step into but because someone once did it so perfectly, so truthfully, that to change it would be to unmake it. And he saw that with all his talent. With the full weight of his craft, he still chose to step aside. That's something rare in this era of remakes and reboots. Humility, honor, restraint. We talk often about legends who shape roles. But sometimes, it's the ones who refuse to reshape them who end up honoring them the most. Cillian Murphy may never walk the halls of Hogwarts as a professor or a villain, but in his silence, his grace, his reverence, he left behind something just as timeless. Fade to black. He said no out of reverence. In a world where so many chase legacy, Murphy did the opposite. He stepped back from it. Not because he wasn't worthy, but because he understood the weight of what came before him. Alan Rickman wasn't just an actor playing Snape. He was the soul of the role. And Cillian, he knew that. His answer wasn't silence. It was respect. And maybe that's the kind of magic we need more of. Because it's easy to idolize performances. It's harder to protect them. And by walking away, Cillian Murphy honored something that even Craft can't recreate. The dignity of a story left untouched. Fade to black. Music fades slowly. Not every great actor needs to inherit a legend. Sometimes, knowing when not to step in is what makes them one.